So this is the Hazen and Sawyer case study by group 3. So looking at the bigger picture and significance of small wastewater systems, we can take a look at the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, looking specifically at goal number 6, the clean water and sanitation goal, which is ensuring the availability and sustainability of water sanitation for everybody. We can determine that by analyzing small wastewater systems, we can choose the system that best reflects the goal that the United Nations is trying to achieve. And a well-implemented wastewater systems can help other goals like the good health and well-being goal and then the sustainable cities and communities goal. But what is the importance of wastewater systems? So small wastewater systems are available are the ones that we're used for most homes in the US. So it's important for them to be implemented in the best way possible, specifically important for small communities. So communities under 10,000 people, they do face more challenges when trying to build and maintain their wastewater systems, specifically financial challenges, as well as training and retaining their system operators and creating systems that are resilient to the topography and the climate of their isolated locations. So it's important to be able to look into the alternatives and determine the best one that suits the needs of the community so that it promotes the community's health and well-being. So the old view on sustainability focused on the economy, environment, and society all separately. And so we would get solutions that would support one pillar and cause harm to the other one. So the new view is looking at them working together. So we're looking for solutions that support all three as much as possible. So this is why we analyze wastewater systems and the idea of triple bottom line in mind, so that we can prioritize solutions based on the need of the community, and then we can limit the amount of interruptions in the environment, society, and economy.
All right, so for this project, we needed to select a goal, choose which alternatives we needed to consider, collect and record any of the necessary data, and then choose the sustainability metrics to assess. For the project goal for us, we were going to compare 3 wastewater systems in the Hazen and Sawyer case study, and then use the SEE wastewater decision support tool and determine the best alternative by normalizing the results of each. The alternatives we considered are shown below. Alternative 1 goes into a septic tank, followed by a recirculation tank into a stage 1 biofilter, which then goes either to ground surface or goes into a pump tank to be recycled back into the recirculation tank. After the stage 1, you actually go into a stage 2 biofilter. And then following that is the STU subsurface dispersal. The other 2 you can see. I'm not going to go as far into them because they are shown. Inputting data. The data we've had was provided by the instructor, but we put it into the SEE tool ourselves. And you can see below an example of how it would be input into the system. As for the metrics that we looked at, we were looking at the economic, environmental, and social and technical impact of each system. In our results, you'll see we equally weighted everything, but we also looked at what changed if we weighted economic mainly, or we weighted environmental, or if we chose social and technical impacts to be the most important.
Onto our results and discussion for our environmental impact here. If you look at the carbon footprint per cubic meter graph, alternative 2 performs the best here, while alternative 3 performs the worst. Treatment plays the biggest role here along with infrastructure in terms of the carbon footprint. The other factors do not play that big of a role. For the eutrophication graph, alternative 3 performs the best, while alternative 1 performs the worst. Discharge to reclaim water is a major factor here, and there's some potential offset on alternative 1. Onto the economic impact graph. We have our net present worth of costs per cubic meter graph right here. Alternative 1 performs the best, alternative 3 performs the worst. Capital cost is a major factor here, and labor and overhead are pretty much equal for all the alternatives. For our social and technical impact part of our study, alternative 1 performs the best, because it only has 2 factors that really play a role here. And alternative 2 performs the worst because it has 4 factors and each of those play a significant role. Most factors play a role in assessing the impact, but seasonal resilience, system intrusiveness, and employee training are playing the biggest roles here. When looking at the overall C score, the impact and the weighting preferences, you can see that alternative 1 performs the best and alternative 3 is the worst. Social and technical play a big role in all 3, and 1 performs the best because there's a lack of economic impact there. When changing the weighting factors to environmental, economic, and social and technical, you can see at the environmental graph, alternative 2 doesn't really have that big of a role from environmental, while the other 2 do. In terms of economic factors, alternative 3 is heavily affected by economic factors, while alternative 1 really has no economic factor factoring in. And for social and technical graph, social, like they're all 3 of them are affected pretty badly, but alternative 1 has the least damage there.
Concluding the project for the Hosden and Sawyer wastewater case study, we found that alternative 1 was the best at accommodating all factors of sustainability. Through the use of triple bottom line thinking and the C wastewater decision support tool, we were able to accurately provide unbiased results that fairly includes all factors. Regarding these factors, we found that social and technical factors had the largest weight on determining which alternative was best, and in this case, it was alternative 1. This was evident in the overall C impact result graph, as well as when it had a larger weighting preference. While environmental didn't have as great of an impact on social and technical factors on all the alternatives, it did have the greatest negative effect on alternative 1 in regards to eutrophication potential. Finally, with the economic focus, alternative 1 and 2 were nearly tied, leaving alternative 3 with the largest cost. With our results compiled, we believe that a proper solution has been reached, and our data can be used to back a solution and push towards design and construction of alternative 1.